A top story tonight. Kenyan opposition CORD is now seeking dialogue with President Uhuru Kenyatta to unlock the impasse over the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. CORD leader Raila Odinga says the coalition has written a letter to President Kenyatta seeking talks on electoral reforms ahead of 2017 general election. At the same time, the chairperson of the National Assembly's Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs has requested the National Assembly Speaker for a joint sitting with the Senate to discuss electoral reforms and amendment of the IEBC Act.
The request by the Samuel Chepkonga-led Departmental Committee for joint sittings with their counterparts in the Senate to discuss electoral reforms might as well signal the beginning of a process to remove from office the current commissioners of the National Elections Body, IEBC, chaired by Isaac Hassan. In the recent weeks, pressure has been mounting for the IEBC to go home ahead of the 2017 polls from the church's umbrella body NCCK, the Catholic Church and Civil Society, and the opposition coalition CORD. Opposition leader Raila Odinga is now seeking to meet President Uhuru Kenyatta over the standoff.
We are very open and we really want to see a proper dialogue initiated so that an agreement is reached which can give this country a peaceful election next time.
Should Chepkonga's letter get approval from the speakers of both houses, one of the mandates of the joint committee shall include receiving views from members of the public, political parties, and national and county governments on the electoral laws and processes. The House Joint Committee will also make recommendations to Parliament on the legal, policy, and institutional reforms required to address the existing loopholes in the electoral laws. Chepkonga says for the last 2 weeks, his committee has been holding discussions on how to amend the IEBC Act 2011 on appointment of a selection panel that will appoint commissioners to the National Elections Body. Chepkonga says his committee has received 2 proposals on appointing the 7-member selection panel. One proposal is to have the majority and minority parties in the House to nominate 2 persons each. The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, Catholics and Evangelicals shall each nominate 1 person. According to the IEBC Act 2011 that was crafted under the Grand Coalition government, the President and the Prime Minister were to nominate 2 persons each to the selection panel. The Judicial Service Commission, Kenya Anti-Corruption Advisory Board, and the Association of Professional Societies of East Africa were to nominate 1 person each. Article 8 of the first schedule of the IEBC Act states that after the first elections under the Constitution, the 2 persons who were to be nominated by the Prime Minister shall be nominated by the President. Chepkonga says this committee feels it will be untenable and improper to allow one party which will be participating in a general election and which shall be fielding a presidential candidate to nominate 4 persons to sit on a selection panel for fresh IEBC commissioners. But even as Parliament tries to find a way out of the stalemate, the opposition and ruling Jubilee Alliance are flexing muscles.
We call upon our people to rise and defend. It is not to defend IEBC. Is to defend constitutionalism and the rule of law. That even if you want this government out, there's a way that it must be brought down. Even if you want that commission disbanded, there's a way provided in the very constitution.
Isaac Hassan is just a servant of Jubilee, not a neutral arbiter in a contest. He cannot be a referee in an electoral process where other parties are competing. When he's ready, trying to give another party red card by saying that the referee is biased.
The diplomatic community has called for sobriety on the future of the IEBC leadership, saying it should be achieved through dialogue and made in accord with the constitution and laws. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.